men are cute, something like that. Then sexuality. Okay, sexuality. So basically, we know that I am a homosexual gay person, man-loving man. Let's see if we find our flag here. We have Abrosexual. Looks kind of a watermelon, kind of. Someone who is Abrosexual has a fluid sexual orientation. They experience different sexual orientation over times. Definitely not me. I'm gay, always, all the time. Yeah. Then Aceflux. Nice colors. Someone with an orientation that fluctuates between no attraction, some attraction, and a lot of attraction. Let's see, that's sexual attraction, right? I think like that's something that we should not. How do you say it? Mix it up with like sexual appetite or something. And no attraction. We're getting in kind of like dangerous territory, right? With like ace connected things. Let's see. Orientation fluctuates between no attraction. Is it like just a like physical thing? Like I like my chest, for example. Because then it's like, I would say, then it doesn't fluctuate, right? So I would say my sexuality does not fluctuate. My attraction does not fluctuate. But what was the other thing? No attraction. Yeah, maybe I do have times where I'm not interested in meeting people, but that's like just social thing, right? That's not that my underlying sexuality changes or like ability to be attracted or feel attraction. So I think that's not for me. Then Aegosexual, kind of a geometric pattern. A person who is Aegosexual lacks the desire to participate in sexual activities, yet they may have sexual fantasies that they get aroused from. Let's see. So, participating in sexual activities. So, that's kind of for myself, maybe relatively a close call, right? Because for me, it's like sexual activities. I think it's maybe nice, but or like it's definitely nice and it's fun, but it's not like I absolutely need this, right? I not like with other people participate in sexual activities, right? It also makes me think, because I don't like generally regularly have like participation stuff physically often, so that means maybe because like I don't have like a high need for that, or like I always need to have a partner or something. Maybe that means it's kind of close to me. Maybe. Yet they may have sexual fantasies, definitely, that they get aroused from. Yeah, I like to describe arousal as kind of like romantic thing too, right? It's kind of easier. So basically, I have like romantic thoughts. So like sexual thoughts, I guess too. Yeah. Participate in sexual activities. the thing is, it also says like lacks the desire, right? Then for me, it's like probably would be up for it. Definition would still be lacks the desire, but like getting the desire from people if they're nice to me or like cute in a like emotional on my wavelength kind of thing and give me compliments and like my body, then it would be a desire for me. So in that definition, then I would not be in. But it's definitely like from all the flags we had right now, because it's sexual, right? Because like my gender thing is really clear, cisgender, because it's sexual and it's kind of ace umbrella. This is kind of the closest yet. So like definitely like a kind of god thing that gets in the basket, I guess. I would not identify with this, and like I think the next we have something like looks like a St. Andrew's cross, and it says Apothisexual. Stems from the Greek root of apophisen, meaning repulsed. Refers to someone who identifies as asexual and finds sex and sexual activities to be disgusting or uncomfortable. Individuals who use this term are affected by sex in the media to varying degrees and may try to avoid its presence altogether. So let's see. So I would say myself in some way asexual, it isn't, but I think like this is probably one of the sexualities that I would have the most like danger with, because I have like a really like high kind of working on myself to be comfortable with myself, right? And fighting my inner, or like having fought my inner like self-hate for my sexuality and my body and like my sexuality, right? So part of that is also for me kind of like a journey, or for me therapeutic stuff, where I'm kind of fighting for myself, being comfortable and allowing myself to be comfortable with like sexual stuff, right? And like, or like romance stuff too, and like body stuff. So it's like for myself, it's kind of like kind of liberating to think of like, yeah, gay physicality, like hugging and stuff, affection, or even more physical stuff, are kind of, for me, I want to put it like in a, this is a great thing, right? And I love it. And I think it has really like high importance for me, and like having this positivity and like embracing of it, and also really being weak to when the other person engages to me in it like that, right? Like really like accepting, no shame about yourself way, right? Like not being ashamed of like holding hands or like hugging or something. And that's really important for me. And I think like this with Apothisexual, there's like really the danger, right? For me as someone who is on this journey and like, one second, is on this journey and is really fighting for himself and like is really comfortable with this himself. To have someone who is like really disgusted or uncomfortable with probably things that I would joke around in day-to-day conversations, right? In day-to-day conversations. I think that would like basically have a lot of potential to a lot of misunderstandings and problems, I think. Because like, I may not look like it, but I think I'm really like a casual, sexually joke kind of person. So, of course, that's like with like close friends, right? Of course, with like other people, I self-police myself enough, so like everyone is of course comfortable with it. And if not, I would not do it or make jokes. But I kind of used like sexual jokes or like joking about myself in a positivity way. And I think kind of sexual positivity or casualness, not even with like doing extremely much physical stuff, but just like having the topic to be something that can be discussed easily with like close friends. If that would like trigger disgust or uncomfort, it's quite difficult for me. Yeah. And yeah, then affected by sex in media, I think like sex scenes in media can be like really cringe kind of, but there are definitely things that I would not find, that I would not want to look at it, also in movies, but like I think it's just a general thing, right? And not a sexuality defining thing. Yeah. With this is like really important to like respect them and like me self-censoring me around them probably. Yeah. But it's also like they're like spaces where I'm really sexual. I like sexual spaces, right? And it's also like a definition of sexuality, right? Or like what is sexual? Because like I remember I went to a meet once and then people told me, wait, you the person from the YouTube account with the gloves, you have a glove gang, is this sexual? I did not know there's a glove gang. I did not know that. So yeah. So for me, like, there's like a lot of things that are probably more casual than for others, but I think it's important for me for it to be casual, right? Because it's a kind of self-acceptance thing for me to kind of normalize it. Like normalizing a hint of like manliness, gayness kind of, which is totally casual. Like, for example, in the gym, every of my straight friends also check my chest progress, right? But then maybe for other people it would be too much. Let's see. Next. Apresexual, a subset of demisexuality, where one only develops sexual attraction to someone after another form of attraction is felt. This other attraction could be romantic, platonic, queer platonic, alterous, or another type of attraction. Did we have demisexual yet? No, right? Let me quickly check. Yeah, it's only like later. So let's see. Yeah, let's go for this for demisexuality because it like bases it on it. Okay, this is demisexuality. I kind of saw it a few times. Demisexual. Do not be sexually attracted to someone unless you have a deep emotional and or romantic relationship. Okay, this is like kind of like hot guess for me too. And it kind of like starts, it's like not much text, right? But it opens up quite a few questions. One is, do not be sexually attracted to someone unless you have a deep emotional and or romantic relationship. I thought like in some definitions before, sexually attraction could also be like just like the like physically, like you like this, like pin-up, for example, whoops, or cool comic or something. But here it seems addicted to someone is like with another person, right? And that also makes me think I never in like school time had a crush on anyone. Never. And I never had a crush on any like sexual crush on any like actors or something, right? So maybe that means something. That for me, sexual attraction is more conditional on something happening before, maybe something like that. With like other people. Because like if it's less like fictional stuff, definitely Master Chief. But like without a human inside. Or Wargreymon. Or Boba Fett armor in Sims. Okay, where were we again? But this is just like a visual stuff, right? Where like the style, where I think it's like both cute and cool and buff. Then it's like, oh yes, this is cool. But yeah, with other people, deep emotional or romantic relationship. Basically, I think this sits quite close to home, right? Because I think if I've never spoken with the other person before, I think I would not be sexually attracted to them. I think, or maybe it hasn't happened yet. And I think knowing the person, like the character, and also the gestures towards me, both make the character both knowing the character, like the other person character, and knowing the gestures they do towards me, make me feel more for them, I think. Maybe you could say it like that. That's probably something that, like, to some extent, like, everyone has, right? But yeah. So yeah, I'm just thinking about my life experience, if there was some case against that. Like where I felt sexual attraction to a person before I knew them, and I think not. Okay, so basically, I think demisexual, a really good guess. So basically, like we have, what was that? Aegosexual was quite good, but had the problem of saying no not wanting anything physical. Demisexual is good for the physical interactions I had, which are also probably not as much as other people, but it's also fine for me. But I definitely won't find my true love. Then next we have Enbian. Non-binary person attracted to non-binary person. Okay, so I'm not non-binary, so it's definitely not me. So it's basically like people I will not encounter. But the flag is kind of cool. looking like a star sign or something. Yeah, I think the demisexual flag is really a lot of grey, which looks kind of sad a bit, I think. Am I sad? No, I'm not sad. My feelings that are channeled to the person are extremely concentrated. Like some fruit juice or something. Fraysexual. Subtype of asexuality where a person can experience sexual attraction towards someone until they form a deeper connection. Often described as the opposite of demisexuality. Basically, I heard of someone who had this, and it's a bit sad, right? Because it's like, it means if you know the, like, maybe it's not sad, maybe just from my perspective, but it means like the more you know someone, the less interesting they become. Kind of like every sexual encounter is a honeymoon phase. But I think for myself, I want to try to have like honeymoon phase never ending. Like always having like kind of butterfly like tiny gestures in a relationship or something. Okay. So yeah, definitely not me. More like the opposite. Okay, wait a second. This just says gay man. Is this me? I think this might be me. I think this might be me. I'm a gay man. Of course, you can also pick like multiple flags, right? Non-females who like man. Non-females who might like mine. I think like I would not describe myself as only non-female, but like man. And I guess it doesn't need to be on sexuality because it's more like the thing you are on, not yourself. But I still think it's kind of sad that there's not like man written on it. But I think it also is called man X-man flag. So in the definition I'll take it. Yeah, it basically means like, for example, like we had before, Demi boy who loves man would also have this flag, right? But yeah, that's fine for me because like I think like my gender is really secure, so like it's fine for me. Then next we have Greysexual. A person who falls somewhere on the spectrum between allosexual, between sexual and asexual. Let's see. I think like probably this is relatively close to me too, right? Because I think I'm getting frame drops. So basically, person who falls somewhere on the spectrum between allosexual and asexual, and I think, let's see, it's also like demisexual would also be greysexual, right? I think greysexual would also probably be a good thing for me because it's more sexual than just asexual, right? And I think I definitely have if we define sexual as sexual with other people or having the need to be sexual with other people, which I would say I have like less seeing how I have not like strived for like extremely like I need sexual partner, I need relationship partner, I need a relationship. I would be like unhappy if I did not have like sexual relationships. Because like for me that's kind of like more like it's nice if it happens, and I like when it happens. I wish that it happens if I am like really like closely connected to the person and like really vibe with them really well, right? But because there are like more things that need to fall in place for that, I think probably Greysexual would also be a good thing or like a good pack, right? It would be like kind of like gay man and Greysexual, or like gay man and Demisexual together. Maybe we'll find more. But yeah, basically it's kind of good pack. It also like for me does not mean that I'm less sexually, let's say, capacitous, active, capacity having, but it's more like extremely close soulmate person, right? So if I would like not be like extremely sexual with boyfriend, then I would think like, oh, maybe they don't like my body, maybe don't like me, and I think I could not express myself enough. So like I like kind of like romanticness, feeling of like having romantic stuff and sexual stuff kind of like combined, closely connected. So it's kind of like a really like opposite of cringe, kind of embracing each other with stuff and activities, and like being really casual, like being the most casual that can exist, because it's like boyfriends. That's my concept of it, kind of. So yeah, Greysexual and gay man. It's funny that it just says like gay man, right? The others say like something sexual, and this says like gay man. I like it though. I mean, gay man, my sexual orientation is gay man. I like that. Sexual orientation, gay man. Okay. Let's continue. Then lesbian. Alright. Basically, the like gay man flag is like toothpaste, and I hate mint. I kind of get it because like blue and green are traditionally like masculine colors, but or like recently traditionally. But look at the lesbian flag, it's so pretty. It's like raspberry and peach, or like raspberry and orange. I love orange. And it also can be orange. But yeah, I get it. But yeah, I'm totally jealous of lesbian's flag. Lesbians, you're totally cool. I'm jealous of you. And non-males who like women. Okay, basically not me in two ways, because I'm male and I don't like women in a sexual, personal way. Let's see, omnisexual. I of course like women in the let's draw gay art way. I have so many inspiring, great women artists that are inspiring me to learn more and be better at art. So thank you so much for inspiring me. Omnisexual. Fairly similar to a person. 1 second. To a person who identifies as pansexual, but a little different. An omnisexual person does identify themselves and others as a gender rather than being gender blind like a pansexual person would. Omnisexual people have an attraction to all genders but tend to like one gender more than the rest. It's basically like the world is a free buffet, but you can still taste the differences. Does that make sense? I think. And then pansexual is like everything tastes the same to you, but everything tastes extremely tasty. And this is like you can still have preferences and probably have you love chips, but eat every kind of snack on the snack table. So that would make me a really picky eater, right? I guess. With like gay man and then also like only like doing stuff with others if it's like they show signals or like they are really nice and sweet. Oriented Aroace. A person who feels either neither sexual or non-romantic attraction to anybody and is therefore aromantic, asexual or Aroace, but experiences an attraction which is strong enough to be recognized as an orientation. An attraction. Okay, so basically I think, I'm not totally sure, but I think attraction means like just like being attracted by visualness or something, or like a comic or maybe something that. So, but yeah, it's really funny that like I am relatively close to asexual and something asexual spectrum, but Aroace is really far from me because like I don't want to have no romanticness and I don't want to have no sexual stuff. Like a boyfriend for me would be both sexual and romantic. So that fits the Greysexual, like I know, like Demisexual, right? Where it's like, I think like both. It doesn't mean that right with Demisexual and Greysexual, but it seems a bit that it means like the sexualness or romanticness that is experienced is kind of less, but that doesn't mean it, of course, right? But yeah. Then with pansexual, I saw this flag a lot too. A person who is sexually interested in other people is interested in other people regardless of gender. Regardless means like kind of gender blind, I guess. Kind of gender blind. So there's also no preference. Of course there can be like preference between people, right? And like probably doesn't mean the person is attracted to everyone. Just like that gender doesn't matter. Okay. With still sexualness, okay? Pomosexual. Oh, this is like a really like Pomosexual. Defined as refusing, avoiding, or not fitting any sexual orientation label based in terms of conventional labels or classifications such as gay, lesbian, bisexual, or labels on the asexual or aromantic spectrums. Okay, definitely not for me because like I am gay and I also have some kind of dipping my feet into the buckets of asexual or aromantic spectrums, right? So definitely for this you can say totally 100% not me. Then queer. An identifier for individuals and or community of people who are not cisgender heterosexual. it can be used instead of orientations as lesbian, bisexual. Okay, queer can also be referred to gender identity as gender expression, whether it's standalone term or part of another, like genderqueer. Let's see. I think it's a fine word. Of course, there are like some like from history, like old people who say it like hatefully. I think like for me, because like gay exists, and I think also a romantic spectrum exists. So like I think like there are things that describe my state really well, kind of. So I don't really use it. It also kind of sounds not weak, but it's a reclamation thing, right? But yeah, I think gay describes it better because, like, I think like queer was a slur, but like gay was also a slur, right? And I think gay was like this slur basically that was used in like middle school, high school. So I think using it to describe myself in a positive way is like gay and like not like tiptoeing around a thing that some people could be offended as, or like using as derogatory things. For example, I know someone who uses like gay still as like negative like insult, but not in a jokey way, but like meaning like a negative. And I kind of still feel bad about it, and I want to kind of like yeah, I feel like bad when he uses it, but it's like, or like hateful people use it. But I think for myself, I want to like use gay so often as I can, so that like for me it's totally casual now. It's like even more casual than using the word in my native language. So it's easier to say, kind of. But I want to like not tiptoe around saying gay, but just say gay. And I think that's empowering me, kind of. I'm not sure if that makes sense. That's why I also have like it like in many like videos of when it comes up, when it's like I would say like I'm gay, and I like celebrate it as like something that's like nothing to be ashamed of, and I don't have to be ashamed of myself. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not offended if someone uses queer. Okay, next we have Quoisexual. Sexual orientation on the asexual spectrum. The use of the prefix quoi originates with Quoiromantic, also known as Lithromantic, Lithromantic. While quoisexual is often defined as being unable to distinguish sexual attraction from another type of attraction, it's not only this is not its only or even primary use. Okay, basically like this was a lot of words, but it says like one definition was it's unable to distinguish between sexual and other attraction, and this is not its only or even primary use. But what is the primary use then? It doesn't say it here. But yeah, I think for me it's not the thing, because like I think I maybe take time or like a lot of feedback, a lot of hints to develop sexual feelings, but I don't have trouble discerning it from romantic feelings or just like coolness feelings or something. Like I would not accidentally be sexual with someone I just find cool as a like kind of hero person or something. Okay, next. I think we have seen this color before, right? Doesn't it kind of look like... I think it looks really close to this flag, right? Which is like gender fluid. It's also hard to remember, maybe Reciprosexual. Sexuality in which you feel attracted to another person after knowing they are attracted to you. Wait a second. Is this like a ding 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 thing? Okay, Apresexual. Sexuality in which you feel attracted to another person after knowing they are attracted to you. Ding 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 ding. Is that like a really good one for me? Let's see. I think probably this is really important for me. Let's see. I'm not like you, mostly the person who does first steps, but and basically I think when someone would ask me out of the blue and I don't know them and I didn't even know they had a crush on me, then maybe I would also not feel it. And basically I think most or like even all times I had like butterflies in my stomach. It was like people telling me and or like after like showing signs that they liked me in that way, right? After knowing they're attracted to you. Of course, like it's not like with everyone, right? There can also be people who are attracted to me who I would not be attracted to. But maybe it's like a requirement that I know that they are attracted to me, that I even starting up my thinking about that way or something. Not sure. Definitely interesting. I think I will also like add this to like the flag harvest of what we're doing here. Okay, the next thing is romances. So like this was like sexual attraction, like for partners or something, or like doing something physical. Romantic is like the idea of, I think like romantic gestures, butterfly feeling too. I kind of like conflate, like mix up like sexual and romantic stuff to have an easier time talking about it, but yeah, let's see. Aegoromantic. Person who enjoys the idea of romance but does not wish to participate in romantic activities. Or it was like the sexual thing before. The thing is for me, that's even less than Aegosexual for me, right? Aegoromantic, I definitely want to enjoy romantic stuff. So this is a no. Not only the idea, but I enjoy it. Aromantic, I have seen this flag often. Having no interest in or desire for romantic relationships is of course like for me like I'm not actively like looking really hard for relationships, right? But it's like more like like I'm getting myself out there, but it's more important that I'm like happy in myself or something. So I would say a romantic no. And it also doesn't have the nuance of like needing to know the other person likes me, needing to get like hints from the other person, needing to get like feedback or nice gestures to develop like romantic feelings, right? It's just like no romantic feelings. So no for me. Cupioromantic. This says a subset of aromantic. It is used to describe aromantics who still desire romantic relationships. So it means basically, and this is like kind of something that I thought a lot of too, right? What is romance and what is the idea of romance? What is romance and what is romantic gestures? Do I like just the gestures or do I like the romance? And what difference does it make? Because I guess I'm a gesture heavy person, right? Who likes to have like romantic chats and nice words to each other, basically like building each other really up wholesomely the whole time. I think that's a big part for me for romanticness. Like cooking for the other person and then he likes that, or like I work out for them, and then they like it. That would be cute. But yeah, could be romantic. Maybe because of that distinction and the like things relatively close. It's like a maybe flag. Probably not. Then you have Demiromantic. Demiromantic, same as demisexual, but just with romantic. I guess like with like demisexual, I also think about romanticness, right? So it's like demiromantic, demisexual at the same time. Yeah, and I think, yeah, I don't have like romantic feelings instantly. Maybe it's also like a definition that maybe some people would think like, oh yeah, definitely, like you can fall in love with someone instantly, right? But for me, I really need like the like signs from the other person, or like the let's see, here we are again. Yeah, demiromantic. Yeah. Don't have romantic feelings for someone until you form a strong emotional connection with them. I think like some people are also using demisexual flag for both, kind of, right? I think I kind of identify with the two, right? Because it's like has the nuance of needing to know this person, needing some more time than others, probably much more time than others. Okay, next. Nice flower. Diamoric. Let's see. Diamoric. Pertaining to any of the various sexual romantic orientations that are by definition limited to non-binary people. That are by definition limited to non-binary people. Does it mean like you cannot love gay people but only non-binary people, right? You cannot love man like me, for example. Then it means basically that this is like something I cannot be, and no one who has this would be into me, right? So that's fine. But it's totally fine. It's like good to like, because in that way, when I say that I'm like cisgender male, manly man, then I don't like get or like give people false hopes or something. Greyromantic. Person with romantic orientation that is somewhere between aromantic and romantic. Same with like sexual, right? Yeah. I would probably say yes, maybe, but I think romanticness is easier for me, but needs the sexual part for me. So maybe sexual parts are more the hang-ups, or like, but also like for me it's kind of like when I'm romantic with a person, I need to be totally open with them, right? And only then I can also be sexual with them, but also I would not be romantic with someone I could not be sexual with, because then I would not have opened myself fully to them, like with my vulnerabilities and sexuality, right? So in that way, I think the romantic side doesn't have to be so aromantic as the asexual side is, because like sexuality is like a prerequisite for me, and I cannot think of like being romantic with someone who I'm not also sexual with, because then I would be like, don't they like my body? Do they find me weird? And that would be sad for me. I want like encouragement in both body and romanticness, if that makes sense. Then Lithromantic. It's kind of toucan colored, I like the colors. A romantic orientation which falls into a romantic spectrum. It is when you prefer if the person you have romantic feelings for does not reciprocate your feelings and can lead to feeling of discomfort if you reciprocate your feelings. Okay, wait a second. This is really bad for me. I like reciprocation is like extremely important for me, right? So if the other person does that and does not like it, I would be devastated. I would be really devastated. So this is basically like something I cannot work with, right? If the other person would want me to not show my feelings back to them, I would feel really, really bad. So this is definitely like a no-go for me, basically. Like Fraysexual, basically too. This is also a no-go. Like, it would make me really feel bad. And I think reciprocation, like the other person bouncing back from like the nice inputs and kind of like throwing the ball around of like encouragement and wholesomeness is really, really important for me. Really, really important. Extremely important. So if that is not there, and this is like negative, right? This is like the things that is important for me is bad for the other person. So like just not good. Not good combination. But of course, what if people have that? Let's see next. Polyamorous. With a heart. Means many loves. It means having multiple committed relationships with people you're mutually in love with, and everyone wants it to be that way. Let's see. I think for that one I would have to think a lot, but I probably am too self-conscious or like self-worrying or anxious for it to work. Like I would think all the time, does the other person not like me anymore, or can I not give the other person everything he needs to be himself? And like it totally works probably with people who don't have like the self-doubt problems, but maybe not with me. And I'd have to think about it. But yeah, I would probably get jealous or sad about myself. Probably. It's something I'd have to think about though. Then Quoiromantic, we had like Quoisexual before, and it was describe everyone who has a lot of struggle with the concept of romantic attraction. That's for me like, do I struggle with the concept of romantic attraction? The thing is, I'm not sure how far my romantic attraction is performance, or I like gestures, or I like butterflies in my stomach. But I think it comes from a really genuine place, right? So I think I would not describe myself as quite romantic, because I cherish romantic attraction, right? I enjoy being romantically attracted, and I'm enjoying making romantic gestures. I have like this wholesome part. And I need it too in my relationship. So I would not describe myself quite romantic. Okay, that was it with all sexualities and romanticness. Sorry, that was a bit long, but I think we learned a lot about myself, kind of. Right? There were like a lot of flags that are like totally not me, but some flags that were like, wait a second, and some flags that were yeah, quite like me.